life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Ativa and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org. When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help David and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. Would you dream of something I did? Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
As for those who just tuned in, I'm Loretta McNairy, your host. I know you say you know that, but I have a very special guest. His first time here with us, but I'm sure he will be back again. Reginald Harris is here, and he's the president of an amazing organization that mentors young men, grades 6 through the 12th. Yes. And it was founded by another young man out of Georgia who
Yes.
had life happen to him.
That's right.
In one of the most unexpected, tragic ways, and lost both his parents, but he decided to take that adversity and create and find his purpose,
That's
which
right.
was this organization that you're the president over. And so prior to going to break, I wanted you to kind of talk to the people who say, well, you know what, I've made some mistakes, yeah, but stuff just keep happening. I take 2 steps, I get knocked back 4 steps or 7 or 10, 89 steps. So how can we encourage that person today?
Well, the biggest thing I encourage people to do is number one, you need to stop what you're doing and you need to self-assess. These things that have been happening to me, are they self-inflicted or is this just life hitting me? If it's self-inflicted, of course, we need to analyze, what am I doing? Let's say, for instance, you always end up with different men, but they all have the same personality. They're all abusive. So we need to self-assess and figure out what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah, that keeps drawing that kind of person.
That keeps drawing that kind of person. Okay, so that's one thing. But if you get a situation where you see that this stuff is like, if people are dying in your family, stuff just kind of happening to you, then you have to take that in and say, listen, and look up to God and say, God, what is it that you want me to do with all this stuff? Because a lot of times, the things that God, allows you to go through, he makes you a minister to them. And so,
Okay, I want to slow that down because that was good. Okay. A lot of times what God allows you to go through, he makes you a minister to it.
Exactly. So for example, if you were abandoned as a child, well, you know what it feels like to be abandoned. So it's going to be easier for you to communicate how to get through that situation to somebody else who is an orphan. And so, a lot of times part of our purpose is for you getting stronger by going through that process to help somebody else. Because just like we talked about before at your Kindle Awards, it's a blessing to be able to serve others. So we have to look at our life, okay, well, how I'm on this earth, how in the world can I make this thing better than it was before I got here? And so we can make it better by grabbing those people who are falling through the cracks, don't know how to deal with depression, don't know how to deal with being a single parent. Grab these people by the hand and then show them, okay, I got over it this way. Or these are things that you can do better to handle this situation.
Okay.
And then in doing that, it not only brings fulfillment, but it brings a sense of, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, but how do we get somebody who's going through like that? The stuff, life just keeps happening to them, and they can't even look up long enough to say, let me go help somebody else whose, life is happening to. But one thing I've found, and you can elaborate on this, if you can just, for a moment, stop looking at yourself long enough to say, let's see who I can help. I can almost guarantee that at that moment when you do that, your situation will begin to turn around. It may not be physically visual, but at some point you will see the little steps that it was turning around, because you have to. We are so connected in this entire universe, this world, that what we do, other people are affected by it.
Direct and
good or
indirect.
bad. Your
That's
one
right.
good decision affects hundreds, thousands. Your one bad decision affects your family, it affects your job, your neighborhood, your culture, people who look like you. So it's so important to understand that we all are connected, we all need each other. So there is, even at your lowest point, there is somebody that you can help and that you should help. And I promise you, you'll start feeling better and your situation will start to turn.
That's right. That's right. And really, when you look at the whole scheme of things, for those that are Christians who do follow God, you have to have the understanding that if you're saved, then you belong in heaven. But God decided to leave you here. And since you are here, there's a purpose and there's a plan for you because you're still here. So God needs something done here on earth. So that's why we're still here. And so if you have that perspective in mind, then you have to have the understanding that I have to live each day making sure that I'm doing something, some piece, some part to assist someone else. And also, like you said before, the decisions that we're making are affecting generations.
Yeah.
And if we can step back, just like, people that go out and they cheat on their wives or cheat on their husbands, not understanding that one decision can affect generations, or that man that beats his wife.
Yeah.
That one hit can affect his son, his daughter, and their grandchildren, and on and on and on. So it's a perpetual process, just like if you drop a rock in water. The ripple effect, it continues on and on. So if we live life having that understanding, it'll make a greater impact on what decision we make because we know it's important. So.
Yeah, and because, that is spiritual principle. And I don't care if you're a believer or unbeliever, and I happen to be a believer, but those same principles work for you too.
That's right.
You may call it something else because in corporate America, they use the same biblical principles, but they wrap it up and put a bow on it and call it something else
That's
as
right.
to not offend somebody. But I know that is a spiritual principle that we're all put here for a purpose. There's a reason we are here.
Yeah.
And those who know it, awesome. Walk in it, work in it. Those who don't quite know it, soul search. Hang around other people who have figured it out and
Yes.
pray about it. And I promise you those answers will come to you. But even at your lowest point, God said, at your weakest is when I'm strongest. So you have to understand that we all go through. Now, I go through a lot, and I'm not one of those whiny complainer people unless, you like my BFF, my best friend, then I will call crying. But for the most part, I'm not a person that you're going to see out complaining, being negative ever, 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 ever. So we have to get to that point where, and they, Zig Ziglar says, when you're not lying, you're just speaking the truth in advance. So if you're not feeling good, you can just say I am, because a lot of people don't care anyway if you're not.
Yeah.
So I just want people to understand to drink the pink Kool-Aid. It does work. It does help you to feel better, whatever you want to call it. And some people are just negative. And if you're around a lot of negative people, you're going to have a tendency to be a little negative yourself. So you just have to, backtrack and until you're stronger, don't go around them so much. Even if they live in your house, I don't know how you work that out, but you got to find a way to be around positive people, getting some positive energy, doing some positive things, because until we can do enough and make enough noise in a peaceful kind of noise way, we're going to continue to see the same stuff that we see. And it doesn't tell the whole story. The whole story is not ever told unless you're in the midst of it. And then sometimes you're so blinded and clouded by what's going on, you still don't know the entire story. So people start jumping on bandwagons and jumping out of windows or whatever. You don't know everything. So for you to say that one cause or one situation or that one decision is the totality of that whole race of people, no one person, no one incident can judge an entire race of people. Either way. So we need to quit doing that for sure and look at things that we can actually change and make it happen.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of minutes. I just want you to tell us about any event. I know you got something in February coming up.
We do. We have a Man Up conference that we're partnering with. It's called Out of the Box Entertainment. They're doing a conference in Little Rock, February the 21st, which is a Saturday. If you want more details, of course, give us a call and go to the website, and it's www.mckiefoundation.com. You can get more information on that there. And like I said, we're taking some of the boys from Memphis to Little Rock as well for the event. Awesome. So and the Man Up, of course, it kind of speaks for itself. We're trying to make sure. I mean, with all this stuff going on, we have to put more pressure and let kids know this is not everybody.
Yeah.
Because a lot of kids will look at the news, look at these YouTube videos, and wake up and go to bed angry. They're just angry at the world. And there's enough anger already.
It is.
So we don't need them to be more angry, make more bad decisions because of the anger.
Yeah.
So part of what the Man Up Conference is about is explaining, what do I do with these emotions that I have when I see this young man getting shot in the middle of the street in the broad daylight, or I see this man getting choked to death on the side. So what do I do with these emotions? And how can I fight back in a productive way?
In a way that will truly make a difference and not just get me in trouble.
That's right.
Or to become a victim of the same thing that I'm upset about. Okay, so that's good. So I want people to understand there are a ton of organizations out there, but what we're going to talk about locally, I have like 1 minute. That's the Man Up. That's the MIT Men in Training program, and my program for girls, Pink Eagles Incorporated. I'm on Facebook. Pink Eagles has a Facebook page. It is a free program for girls ages 6 to 19.
Great program.
Anybody can come. We do amazing work. We partner with Girls Inc. I partner with Girl Scouts. I'm not a competitor of any of them because there's a ton of girls that need our help. There's the Pinky Promise. There are tons of other programs. So I want to make sure coming up in the new year that I bring those programs so I can do my part in letting people know what's available. Thank you for being on the show, letting us know what you're doing with the Men in Training. I appreciate you, Reginald Harris, so much for what you do. And thank you for being our guest.
Yes,
and as always, I got to thank this wonderful, amazing audience that we have here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in week after week, day after day, and watching our show and being uplifted and inspired. We appreciate you. So think positive, dream big dreams, help someone along the way. And we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.